Yes, I don't want to put it in the answer.
I like to say he 91. I don't know. Yeah, last week in court, there was a little bit toned down red. Well, then, I would vote for no. Oh. And there, you know, when I was that was the dying, it was 3%. So did I. Well, and anytime I said, you know, anyway, I like. Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
I need you to translate out there. I don't know.
Okay.
Yes. Say again.
Need to start roasting it. Actually now.
Want me to start? You got it. All right. Oh.
And you got it on your rendition. Take that. Take the side. Yeah, right?
Yeah. No, no. Every year.
You know.
Well, I think, I want to play down there.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'll take
Get it done now.
it.
Oh, no. Go ahead, go ahead. Yeah.
Why?
Well,
They're not taking them.
Thank you. Would all please remain standing? Graduates, would you please join me in standing? We are going to sing together the national anthem. So please don't make me do it alone. I know you know the welcome to all who are gathered here today for our spring 2023 drug court graduation. My name is Marmarie Castelli, and I'm the presiding judge in drug court. And we're honored to be able to share this special event with all of you who support our graduates and our participants, and especially with the 8 graduates who are graduating here tonight with us. We also welcome all of the family and friends of the graduates who have supported our participants in this program and are so encouraged by their success and recovery. We welcome all of you who are here presently in person, we also welcome those who are watching live stream and those who will watch in the upcoming days on YouTube. The past few years have really been unlike any other in our lifetimes. As the pandemic is diminishing, I want to assure you that the graduates here tonight have endured an extraordinarily difficult journey into recovery. Most of them entered into drug court at the start of the pandemic or the early months of the pandemic. And as you may recall, when the pandemic began, everything shut down, treatment stopped, meetings stopped, even court stopped for a short time. And these 8 graduates tonight really achieved something remarkable because they were able to complete a difficult program during extremely difficult times and were able to stay on their road to recovery during a once-in-a-century disaster. It shows me that these 8 people have what it takes in them to stay on the right path no matter what life throws at them in the coming years. Hopefully nothing bad. I want to introduce you to these extraordinary individuals, but I also want to acknowledge some people who are here tonight who work very, very hard to support the work we do in drug court. And so first off, I'd like to introduce you to my judicial colleagues who always support drug court and our efforts. So if I may start with Judge Flood. Judge Flood is a felony trial judge. Next to her is Judge Johnson, who serves in family court. Judge Tarter is present. He serves in small claims court. Judge Cruz snuck in at the end. He is serving, he will be our new DUI specialty court judge when that program starts in June, and he's the head of the criminal misdemeanor division. Judge Engerman is here. It's his courtroom we are borrowing tonight. Thank you, Judge Engerman, for that use of your facilities and for being here. Judge Yetter is seated to his left. She is a felony trial judge. And then Judge Downs serves in our family court. Please help me in thanking them for their. It really means a great deal to me personally and to our team to have such judicial support behind our program. We also have an attendance retired judge, Patricia Piper Golden. I'd stand, Judge Golden. She was the drug court judge before me, and she now serves on our 501c3 Specialty Court Foundation. Thank you, Judge Golden. Also, County Board Member Michelle Gums is present. Thank you, Ms. Gums. We also have present Michelle Conant, who is the public defender in Kane County. Thank you, Ms. Conant. The sponsor might be at another event tonight, but I know she's sending her congratulations. We also have our our court administrator, Andrea O'Brien, who is present somewhere. There he is. And our deputy court administrator, Jason Mathis. Thank you. We have the president of our Specialty Court Foundation, Dennis Carr, is present. Thank you. And the threesome of Jeff and Alora Jeffco are present. We also have many defense attorneys and assistant state's attorneys present who were instrumental in getting these 8 graduates to this stage tonight. So I appreciate their support of this program and identifying the appropriate people to be in our program. So thank you very much for that continuing support. We also have many adult court services employees and support staff who have joined us today, and we truly appreciate all that they do to make this program successful. I'll be introducing some of them at the end, as well as our team. I'll introduce at the end as we hand out diplomas. Chief Judge Hull got called at the last minute when a speaker was unable to speak at an event, so he's not here today, but he did share with me some words he wanted me to read to all of you. So this is from Chief Judge Hull. I want to begin by apologizing for my absence. I am speaking at the Kane County Law Enforcement Memorial Service and I'm unable to attend. Congratulations to our drug court graduates. I have been the chief judge since 2019. Drug court graduations are one of the favorite things I get to do as a chief judge. Why, you may ask? Because we get to celebrate you. We get to celebrate all the hard work you have done to get yourself to graduation. We get to celebrate with your family and your friends, to see their smiles and to witness how proud of you they are for completing this program. Enjoy tonight. Congratulations on your graduation, and I look forward to seeing you at alumni events and having an opportunity to congratulate you in person. So thank you, Chief Judge, for your words and for your ongoing support. Since the year 2000, it has been the mission of the Kane County Drug Court Program to reduce the incidence of drug use, drug addiction, and crimes committed because of use and addiction. We accomplish these goals by a highly structured and intensive judicial intervention process. We carefully screen applicants for drug court to ensure that these individuals are high risk and high need and will benefit most from our services. Our program is the most intensive probation program available. We assist participants in getting treatment. We insist that they complete their treatment. We continually monitor our program to ensure that we're following all national and state standards for such programs. And we continually strive to increase our services and assist others. The team helps participants get into treatment, get mental health treatment, physical health treatment, get medications, obtain trauma therapy, obtain jobs, and helps with transportation amongst a myriad of other services that the team performs. I wish to thank all of our treatment providers here tonight, from Gateway, Serenity House, all of the treatment providers that we rely upon greatly for the work that they do. And if it were up to me, I'd give every single one of them an award tonight. But tonight we are going to recognize one treatment provider in particular. The Kane County Drug Court has come to depend on the dedication and the excellence of Ecker Center for Behavioral Health. Over 80% of the participants in our program have a co-occurring mental health and a substance use disorder that require treatment in order to allow for successful recovery. Drug court requires that those with such conditions obtain mental health services in conjunction with their substance use treatment. The evidence is overwhelming that you must treat both a substance use disorder and a mental health condition at the same time in order to be effective with both. This was particularly true during the pandemic period. Ecker Center does a marvelous job assisting participants obtain the treatment and the medications that they need. The drug court team has confidence that our participants are always very well treated at the Ecker Center. Ecker provides psychiatric services, nursing services, group and individual therapy, psychosocial rehabilitation groups, case management, and recovery support services. In the last few years, they have merged with the RENS Center, and so now they are affording substance use disorder treatment on site as well. They are continuously finding new and innovative programs to assist our community. They now provide mobile crisis response services in our community. They provide medication-assisted treatment. They provide Narcan training. They recently began a crisis stabilization program, which is open to walk-ins 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in order to help people avoid psychiatric hospitalizations. They have a NAMI drop-in center. They've started smart recovery groups at both their Elgin and now their St. Charles locations. They have also started a recovery cafe at allowing those in recovery to get together and support one another. They're always looking for new and innovative ways to help. We consistently hear praise from the participants about the treatment that they receive from Ecker Center and how grateful they are for their services. So at this time, I would ask our friends from Ecker Center to step forward to receive our thanks. Introduce you to Berg Strickland. He is the Director of Substance Use Treatment and Prevention at Ecker Center. Mariah Hewitt, who is the Outpatient Mental Health Director. Am I saying all these things correctly? Keith Baker, now Case Management Coordinator. All right.
I'm Jennifer Flory, I'm the marketing consultant.
And Jennifer Florey's here too. So thank you so much. And I can't really express how much we appreciate your services, but hopefully this plaque will at least memorialize it in a more permanent fashion. And it reads, Kane County Drug Rehabilitation Court recognizes Ecker Center in honor of your innovative and dedicated professional services to the Kane County Drug Rehabilitation and their participants, May 2023.
Well, I want to thank Judge Castelny and the drug court in county for this recognition. It is truly very much appreciated. And we have a wonderful drug court staff. And I just want to say that we are all happy to just be a part of that and the work that they do. But tonight is really about the graduates, and I want to make sure that they get all the attention that they deserve. So thank you.
Thank you. Drug court places great importance on helping participants engage in healthy pro-social activities designed for fun, friendship, and support. Our 501c3 Specialty Court Foundation and Adult Court Services help to provide for these events. Please direct your attention to the screen as you see a sampling of some of the activities we've engaged in since our last graduation in October.
Don't hold back. And I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. And no offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down. Can't love you. Bring me down. Love is too hard. Bring me down. Can't love you. Bring me down. I said, happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like that's what you want to hear. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like happy.
In drug court, we have some fun too, as you can see. At this time, we're going to hear from one of our graduates as he reflects on his journey in recovery. So please help me welcome Charles S.
name is Charles, and I'm participating in the Kane County Drug Court. My drug of choice was heroin, and was my method of usage consisted of sniffing. As I stand here reflecting today, back over my life, I can honestly say it was my own choice which led me to start using drugs while I was growing up. I never experienced any type of peer pressure that led me to start using drugs. I attribute my inception to using drugs to a street lifestyle I was living. My life before drug court pertained to me working various jobs and not being able to keep a job. Due to the street lifestyle I was invested in, as well as me making the choice to start experiencing with heroin. Based on the lifestyle I was living, I became addicted to heroin. After not being able to keep a job due to my usage, I fell deep into the street lifestyle, whereas I started selling drugs to support myself as well as my heroin addiction. The lifestyle didn't last because I suffered many arrests and penitentiary sentences. The vicious revolving cycle continued until I was arrested and applied for drug court. For so many years, I was sentenced to prison over and over and over and over again. Once drug court was presented to me, I decided, why not try something different and new instead of going to prison? So my journey in drug court began. After being accepted into drug court, my life gradually began to change. In drug court, there were many things required and expected of me. It started a process of being accountable for myself. Accountability entailed finding a job, random drug tests, meetings, and coming to court on a weekly basis. Above all, I had to find a sponsor to help me through the 12 steps of the recovery program. Looking back over my journey in drug court, I can say I'm going to really miss the drug court team, which is like an extended family to me. Especially helping me to deal with life struggles, challenges, versus condemning me. Today, May 18, 2023, if I was asked the question of why do I do this? Live life, live sober, live a life in recovery, my answer would go as follows. I do this because today I need to live a life of prosperity and success. I no longer want to live just to exist. I need to exist to live life, accomplishing my goals and fulfilling my life dreams. Above all, I do this today because I need to live a life of freedom from mental bondage, emotional bondage, substance abuse bondage, and most importantly, physical bondage. As I end, I would like to express my gratitude. I'm extremely grateful to my mother, who's present in the audience today, who has withstood some of the tests of times in my life and has stood by my side through it all. Her timeless support of me through my life, trials and tribulations, mean so much to me. Also, I'm very grateful for my older sister and my younger sister. Both have gone above and beyond to assist me in life. In which the difference between the two is my older sister have seen me at my worst of worst, in which my younger sister has never seen me in my addiction lifestyle. Grateful for Assistant Public Defender, Ms. Kim Bilbray, who introduced me to the drug court program. The judge for granting me the opportunity to become a participant in the drug court. I'm grateful for Layla and Jamise, who is not present here today, who put forth the best efforts to keep me focused and keep me on track. I'm grateful for Mr. Owens, who helped me to discover who I am as a person and as a man in today's society. I'm grateful for Assistant Public Defender, Ms. Archie Levin, who was the voice of reason for me in the courtroom. I'm very grateful for Assistant State's Attorney, Mr. Chancellor, who expressed so much care when I only thought State's Attorney jobs was to punish me. Mr. Chancellor, you rock, you go girl. I'm grateful for Mr. Roman and all the encouraging conversations we both had together. I'm grateful for the Serenity House staff, Ms. Donna Bernard, Ms. Donna Foyle, Lauren, my first counselor, and Hannah, who was my last counselor. Last, but definitely not least, I say the best for last. I'm very grateful for Phil and Ms. Alicia Clinton, who technically made it possible for me to begin this journey in drug court, which resulted in me living a better life and being successful. And just to add in, I'm very grateful for Ms. Young, Assistant Public Defender Ms. Young, for believing in me and seeing the need that I needed to continue and recover and advocate for me to get back. In closing, I'm deeply grateful for the Honorable Judge George J. McCallum of DuPage County, who recognized in light of my extensive criminal history that I was suffering from an illness that kept me going to prison over and over again. He gave me the chance and the opportunity to discover that that illness was the disease of addiction. What's next for me in life is to complete my probation in DuPage County and to regain a total freedom. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Charles. What inspiring words. Put a lot of thought and effort into that, and it is truly heartfelt. Thank you. We are now going to hear from our second graduate speaker tonight, who's joined with me in welcoming Felicia P.
My name is Felicia, and my drug of choice is opiates, especially heroin. I started dabbling at a fairly young age. In my mid-teens, I started to travel the country through a more nomadic approach, hitchhiking, train hopping, a lot of periods of homelessness. And that afforded me a lot of opportunities to see the country, but it also escalated my usage. Life before drug court, it wasn't all good and it wasn't all bad. There were some amazing times. I've had extended periods of sobriety. I can say though that the last few years have had more downs than anything. I did some time in prison. As soon as I was released, I relapsed, caught more charges. I was extremely miserable, and I just didn't care. The arrests that led me into the King County Drug Court Program, I don't really remember. I barely recall being in jail. I barely recall going through the initial court date. Sorry, I hate public speaking. I remember asking the CO whose shoes he was giving me. They were mine. And sorry, I was offered more prison time or the chance to enter the King County Drug Court Program, which I chose to enter the program. I came here very angry and spiteful. I was just going to do the bare minimum, just get through it. And slowly little things started to happen. In RCA, there was a wonderful counselor there, Scott, that did a creative writing course. And I used to want to be a writer, and that kind of just started the ball rolling into getting back into things that I used to do that I put on hold. I loved it. I loved RCA. It was a wonderful experience. So I did that. I went through Serenity House. I went through 3/4 House. Sorry. I finished the program. Here I am. I'm very grateful. I have a wonderful sponsor, Sarah. I have a wonderful roommate, Nelson. I've got amazing friends, my children, Tilius and Nicodemus. It's really great to reconnect and re-foster those relationships. My coworkers, I have 2 jobs, and I have to say, I absolutely love going to work. I love the people that I'm surrounded by every day. And if I wasn't sober, that wouldn't happen. I isolate, I keep to myself, and it's nice to be able to go to work and just, it's just nice to enjoy life, which I wasn't doing the last couple of years. I'm very grateful for my PO, Lena. I'm grateful for the judge, Alicia, Mike Roman, Jorge, Mr. Owens, the state's attorney, the public defender, Ms. Archuleta. You guys have all, thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you.
And then finally, with her thoughts on recovery and drug court, we will hear from Christy S. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Christy, and I would like to thank you all for coming tonight. Before I get started, I'd like to ask for a moment's silence for the addicts we've lost, and those still suffering, and the babies born to the affliction of addiction. Thank you. Choice, chance, change. I made the choice to take a chance and change. Tonight, I'd like to share the experience, hope, and strength that recovery and the drug court program has given me. It was mid-March 2021, 11 and I were on our way to Ohio when we were pulled over. I immediately knew I was going to jail. At that time, I was wanted by 3 different counties, King, Kendall, and DuPage. I exited the car. I was immediately placed under arrest and transported to a RPD, where I was booked and placed on holding cell. A couple hours had passed and my door opened. I stepped out and was quickly informed someone was there to speak with. I was escorted to an interview room and in walked this woman. She introduced herself as Detective Eric from the Naperville Violent Crimes Unit. I knew enough to know what the Violent Crimes Unit was. She went on to say she was investigating a drug-induced homicide that I may have witnessed, and she wanted to talk. I thought to myself, never in a million years did I think this would be my life, but reality set in quick. We spoke for a while, and I was placed back in my holding cell until morning, when I was transported to the Kane County Jail. I went to Barn Hall, my honor name was same, and I was placed in quarantine. Anyone who's gone to jail knows all you have is time to think. So there I was thinking and thinking. All I wanted to do was get high. I thought to myself, how do I get out of jail with no money and get out fast? It's like a light bulb came on. Rehab. I called my public defender and told her to send me to rehab. So Lori Kelly did what Lori Kelly does and got me a phone assessment with the treatment facility the next day. She also got all the warrants from Kendall and DuPage recalled, as all 3 counties had agreed to let me go to treatment. 2 days later, I was released to the custody of Abraxas. While en route to Woodridge, I sat in the back of the van, planning my next move. Soon as I hit the lobby of Abraxas, I walked out the front door, walked over to Target, hopped in my Uber, and met my drug dealer. I spent about 5 days getting high, surrounded by some really bad people. And I wasn't safe, and at that moment, safety was all I wanted. I reached out to the only friend I had left, who came and picked me up, put me in a hotel room, bought me some food, and went on his way. I ate, took a shower, and called the only person I knew at that time that could truly help me. That was none other than my Kane County probation officer, Jeff Mazza. He answered my call right away. He said, Jeff, I need help. I can't do this anymore. I'm done. Jeff did what Jeff does and gave me names of facilities to call for help. I called about 5. My determination quickly turned to the field. Every place I called wanted some kind of full time. I had done maybe a couple hours at best. I called Jeff back, told him what was going on, and he said, give me 5 minutes, I'll call you back. When Jeff called me back, he told me he called Alicia, the Kane County Drug Court Program, and asked her, where's the best place to send a female with no clean time and have the bed available? She said, Women's Residential in Vernon Hills. He gave me the number and we hung up. Again, I called, and again, I got another voicemail. I left a message and quit for the day. The next morning, about 10 a.m., my phone rang. I answered, and it was Women's Residential. She said, Christy, we have a bed available for you. Can you be here tomorrow morning by 9 a.m.? I slowly, with hesitation, said yes. I immediately called Jeff. I think you could hear the fear and uncertainty in my voice. I said I had no clothes, no way to get there, I had personal belongings at someone's house I needed to take care of before I left. You know, typical excuses of an addict. Jeff said, Christy, get your head out of your butt. Not in those exact words, and stop. Jeff said, tell me where you are. I'm going to meet you at the hotel in the morning, order you an Uber, and watch you get in the car. At this point, I was scared. He was going to show up and have me arrested because that little stunt I pulled at Abraxas caused me to escape going on the DuPage and active warrant for Kane County as well. It was at that moment I needed to trust someone, and that someone was him. The next morning, he showed up, ordered my Uber, watched me get in it, and off I went. Jeff was the only person who had hope for me, who advocated for me when no one else did, not even myself. They say people come into your life for a reason, and Jeff was put in my life to save me. Jeff, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for believing in me and never giving up on me. While at Women's Residential, my case manager worked with all 3 counties to get the warrants recalled. Kane and Kendall agreed. DuPage wasn't having it. While in treatment, I spoke with my Kane County public defender, and there were talks about the drug court program, and I knew this would be the best decision for me. I knew enough about the program to know that you must reside in the county for the duration of your sentence. This was not something I wanted to do. I knew one of the worst decisions I could make was to go back to Aurora. So I worked with my case manager and applied to 4 different halfway houses: Serenity House, Rosecrans, Discovery House, and Stepping Stones. But where I ultimately wanted to end up was at Serenity House. This was the one place I could be, fit into a drug court, and not have to be in Kane County. Unfortunately, Serenity House had no beds available until a week after my discharge date. So I had agreed to go to Discovery House in town, and I would deal with the residency issues later down the road. The day before my discharge, I walked into my case at the manager's office to sign my discharge papers, which were already typed up and ready to sign. As we both sat down, her phone rang. She looked at her caller ID and said, "I must take this." As she's talking, she's looking at me and said, "Okay, hold on, I'll end." She said, "This is Kristen from Serenity House. She has a bed available for you tomorrow if you'd still like to come." And I just cried. God works in mysterious ways, and He has shown up and it's just getting started. My outcome might not have been the same if I went anywhere else. So Kristen, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I arrived at Serenity House, and 2 days later, I had for parents in DuPage County. It was a must appear because I was up for a JFL, which is where they take the 10% off the table and it becomes a full cash bond. When I went in front of the judge, she said, "Ms. Smith, you don't have the right to redirect your treatment." I said, "With all due respect, Your Honor, my treatment is only directed by me. I pick and choose whether I stay here. No treatment facility in this country will keep me safe or if I want it." She said, "You need to learn respect, Ms. Smith. Increase my bond and threw me in jail." The bed of serenity I wanted so bad was no longer mine. Here I am again, sitting in jail with nothing but time to think. This time my thoughts were completely different. I just wanted to get back to Serenity House. Getting high was not a thought. Well, it wasn't at that time anyway. I advocated and advocated to be respect to Serenity. And let me tell you, advocating for yourself while in jail is one of the hardest things to do. About 3 weeks went by. Finally, the judge was ready to release me to Serenity House if they had a bed available. So my attorney tried several times to get in contact with Kristen at Serenity House and had no luck. At this point, I'm frustrated and ready to throw in the towel. Now I wanted to get out and go get high. The same friend that got me the hotel room had the means to buy me out, but it didn't have his number. It was in my personal belongings at Serenity. I wanted my son or someone to go get my things so I could get the number. I called my attorney's office and asked her to do a 3-way call to Serenity to inform them I was sending someone to come get my things. She said, "Let's try Kristen one more time." So we called, and again, no answer. In frustration, I pushed the 0 from the pod phone and was transferred to the operator, and someone answered. I told her I'm having someone come get my things, and she said, "No, you have to schedule that with Kristen." I said, "No." She's not answering. I'm sending someone today. She said, "Christy, I can't. Kristen is the only person that has access to your things. They're locked up." She then transferred us to Kristen's extension, and by the grace of God, she answered. She said, "I have a bed open. It's yours if you want it." Again, God works in mysterious ways. It wasn't done. I soon realized people start advocating for you when you see you advocate for yourself, and sometimes even harder. My DuPage County Public Defender got me the best deal. I pled guilty to a class 4 possession and no escape charge. I was then released to the custody of my attorney, placed in a cab, paid for by her, and she sent me on my way. I arrived back at Serenity in May 2021. I obtained a job within 2 days being there and quickly got settled. I made it no secret that I would be entering into the work program, and all I heard was negative comments about the program itself and the team. I thought to myself, no one likes this program, there must be something to it. That just motivated me more. On August 10th, 2021, I arrived at the King County Judicial Center, entered courtroom 123 with my attorney at my side, and pled into the drug court program. A month later, I moved out of the halfway house and into the neighborhood 3-quarter house. A couple of weeks after my move, I got a phone call from my PO informing me that I had been. I had no idea what a delete drop was, but I quickly found out it was nothing good. Fortunately for me, I was given a stern warning, and it was at that moment I started to educate myself on my roots, change my diet, and everything seemed to be going well. And one day, towards the end of May, I arrived at the Rural Probation Office to drop. Once I dropped, Eden hit me with a Lena look and a Lena phrase. "We need to chat." It was at that moment she informed me I had a positive drop. I said, "For what?" She said, "I don't know, you tell me." I was at a complete loss. I truly had no idea because I knew I had done nothing wrong. I had a positive ETG test for alcohol. I was so upset, so confused. I knew I hadn't consumed alcohol, so I started to replay everything I'd done, recalled everything I had eaten, and came up with nothing. The only thing I knew was was I was at work the day that I given that specific job. I went back to Naperville House, began the process which just happened. The next day, I got up and went to work, and received a text from Donna Boyle asking me to call her. I stepped away and called. She informed me as soon as I got off, I needed to go home, pack my things, and leave. I found myself again with nowhere to go. I had worked so hard to get where I was, just to have it all taken away for something I knew I didn't do. So with anger and frustration, I packed up my things and I left. Found myself sitting at a horrible hotel and quickly realized that I was not in a good place. I picked up my phone and called my sponsor, and she said, "Get your butt to my parents' house now." It was Memorial Day weekend. So many things could have gone wrong, but I relied on my tools, and that 1,000-pound phone had become much lighter these days. The next day, I made a couple calls to find another place to go, and that's when God placed Michelle in Program House in my life. She gave me a chance. I met with her Friday and moved into her independent living house in Elgin the very next day. This change was hard, but I was determined. Michelle, thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me a chance. I soon started looking for a job in Elgin, close to the house, and began interviewing. I was walking in for my first interview when I received a call from Leon. She said, "Christine, you got it, I do." Again, I was angry and frustrated because I didn't know why this was happening. I went to court, was sanctioned for doing in my eyes with nothing. I was mad. I dealt with the sanction, and just as I had completed the sanction, I received yet another call from Lena. "Christine, you got another dilute." At that point, I was done. I told Lena I'll be in after work to see her. I went into Lena's office. I broke down. I wanted to quit. I said, "I don't want to do this anymore," and I left. I started to think of possible reasons for these two dilutes. I knew I had kidney stones, but wasn't sure if this could be root cause. I made an appointment with my doctor, got an order for an ultrasound, and it was confirmed I had 3 stones and 3 little kidneys. It was about 2 weeks later, I got another call from me, and Christy, you got another dilute. So I got 3 dilutes within about 6 weeks. I threw my hands up in the air. I was at a complete loss. My phone suggested I see a nephrologist. My doctor suggested I see a urologist. At this point, I was willing to see any ologist just to figure this out. A couple weeks later, I found myself driving to the ER because I was in so much pain. They did a CT of the kidneys and found multiple stones in both, and informed me I was in the process of passing a stone. I was told by the nephrologist to drink 2 to 3 liters of water a day, and I just laughed at myself. That's not going to happen. So I changed my diet, drank less, and started eating higher protein foods, and I was able to maintain. This whole situation with the dilutes almost broke me. The entire drug court team stuck beside me and supported me through it all. Dana knew when to give me space and pushed me when she needed to. Dana, you've been 10 toes down for me this entire time. You supported me at my lowest, watched me shine at my top. You are the real MVP. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Drug court wasn't easy, but it wasn't hard. It's what I made it. I've accomplished so much during this time. Things like getting my license back, buying a car, relationships with my children, enrolling in college, experienced heartbreak. It felt like my heart was ripped out of my chest just to turn around 7 days later and lose my job due to my background coming back and I was hired. It was the beginning of November last year when I was given 1 week off with pay and was told they'd let me know what was going on. I'm a smart woman, I do. So I found myself not knowing who I was in recovery alone and jobless right before the holidays. I was in a tough place mentally, but never had a thought of getting high. I relied on my tools and my network. The first thing I did was re-engage in therapy. I found an amazing therapist who's taught me self-worth. I regained my confidence and I know how to love myself. I found an amazing job. I was hired by a temp agency as a CNC operator with no experience. I was given this opportunity and I took it and ran with it, and I absolutely love it. I've worked extremely hard, so hard that as of Wednesday, May 17th, just yesterday, I was given an offer to work for the company full time. Again, that is continuing to show up in my life. There's no way I would be able to do this alone. It definitely takes a village. To my children, you are my heart and human form. Without you, it doesn't beat. I love you more than life itself. Thank you for supporting me, never giving up on me, and loving me. To my family, thank you for driving 5 hours to be here. You all have taken the time out of your life to celebrate mine. Thank you for loving me unconditionally. I love you all. Mike Roman, you have believed in me from day one. You've gone above and beyond to help me when you didn't have to. My gratitude for you is simply unmeasurable. Missy, you listened to me whether you wanted to or not. You did. Sometimes all we need is to be heard, and I was. You have seen every side of my personality and never judged me for it. You've always seen the good in me, and I thank you. And I thank you for that. It means the world to me. To the entire drug court team, you have supported every part of my journey. It's not easy doing what you do, but you do it, and you all do it selflessly. Judge Castellani, I am in awe of your compassion and empathy towards the addicts. What you do is not easy, but I know it's only as hard as you make it. So I'd like to say thank you to you all. When I first began this journey, one of the first things my sponsor ever told me was a grateful addict doesn't relapse. Christy, stay grateful. I have remained grateful for every day I have, and I stand up here tonight with just over 2 years clean. Thank you for instilling that in me. I love you more than words can express. You are truly an amazing human, and I am truly blessed to have you in my life and call you my friend. You took a chance on me early on in recovery, and I hope I've made you proud. To my friends, roommates, past and present, you have all supported me and got me through some of the toughest moments in my recovery. And without your support, I might not be up here tonight. I love you and thank you all. I went crazy to find sanity. I lied to myself to see the truth. I walked through hell to understand heaven, and I experienced death to find life. I took this opportunity, this gift that was so freely given to me, and I made it. So can you. So in closing, to all the current drug court participants, work this program with honesty, transparency, and integrity. And always remember, the truth will cost you nothing, but a lie can cost you everything. Thank you.
Three fabulous speeches, all very heartfelt. I appreciate that. We are going to now turn our attention to the screen so we can hear from some of our other graduates today.
Pretty morbid. I was out to destroy my life because I didn't care about my life.
Pretty horrible. I lost everything. I lost the trust from my kids and my husband, and I lost like basically everything.
It was very unmanageable, it was insane. I barely got control.
I was miserable, and I wasn't a good friend. I couldn't keep a job, and
Life is more than just an addiction. I can go anywhere and have a job. I'm happy with my life. I feel successful.
the trust from my family back, my driver's license, very encouraged. For me, it's a big deal. The job, saving. I family strokes, also be friends and got a stable job now.
Here myself,
My favorite part of drug court was MRT. I really learned a lot from Misha and I really liked what. It was just nice seeing everyone, my participants. You know, just everyone together, like.
So miss the relationships, that I made, mostly because like my people would stop staying like at the house and, you know, that might not be the case anymore, so I might have to come here and I'll miss that. Those are good relationships.
Everyone applauding me for it, and you give it, talking to you for it.
People, and the church, everybody for did a lot for me and.
Nice to be able to hear from all of our graduates here tonight. Thank you for doing that. According to studies, the majority of individuals who are arrested for any crime test positive for illegal drugs or alcohol at the time of their arrest. A penitentiary sentence often has little impact on reducing recidivism or continued drug use. According to a 2006 report, almost 95% of drug abusers return to drug use upon their release from prison, and 60 to 80% of those with a substance use disorder go on to commit new crimes. But even more importantly, drugs are killing people at alarming rates. According to a draft report from the King County Health Department, for the 5-year period before 2022, approximately 2,250 people were treated for opioid-related overdoses in King County hospitals, marking a 59% increase between 2016 and 2021. Deaths from overdoses have increased dramatically. Deaths due to synthetic opioids like fentanyl have increased over 170% during that time period. And the number of deaths due to a combination of cocaine and fentanyl have increased 600% since 2016. Drug court is a proven solution that saves lives and reduces crime at a rate greater than 3 times that of a traditional probation sentence. The 8 graduates sitting on the stage tonight are living proof of why drug courts work. The National Association for Drug Court Professionals has calculated that for every dollar that is spent in drug courts, $27 in societal costs have been saved. Combined, the 8 graduates tonight could have been sentenced to 35 years in the state penitentiary, and I'm not including those who may have been extended term eligible or subjected to mandatory consecutive sentencing. If they had been sentenced to the penitentiary for 35 years, the taxpayer costs for housing them in the penitentiary would have been over $950,000. And upon release, statistics show they would not be better off, and society perhaps would not be better off. These graduates tonight have maintained their sobriety. They have no new criminal offenses. They are employed. They have paid off all their restitution. They are now sober and law-abiding citizens, and they should be very proud of how they've changed the direction of their lives. We're now going to take a moment to take a closer look at each graduate, where they were and where they are today. I'm going to attempt to do this. So the report, you messed it up.
You're ready, Ralph.
This is Eric. Eric he probably wins the award for having the most cases pending against him when he pled into the program, right, Eric? Yes. I remember him being written here from various counties, anxiously awaiting his chance to plead into drug court. He never gave up. He was persistent. While he was in drug court, Eric got married. He obtained his driver's license. I let him drive to Florida so that he could get his driver's license and eventually got his commercial driver's license and now has a job driving a semi-truck. He has a true career. He's been able to pay off his debts. He even has a savings account. He has purchased multiple cars and, much to my horror, motorcycles. He started a new recovery meeting at the Alano Club called Friday with Friends. He participated in our book clubs and our art show. I always remember that Eric and his wife came to our last holiday party armed with gifts for others in our program, saying that he, in his sobriety, he really enjoys helping others. We were used to giving gifts to our participants, but he brought gifts to share. And if I remember correctly, I believe Eric and his wife showed up at the picnic armed with food to share with others too, or beverages or something. He always shows up with something in hand to share. He said that being sober finally makes him feel good about himself, and he should. Congratulations, Eric. Matthew M. had 3 pending felonies at age 21 and was on probation when he applied for drug court. He had dropped out of college, had been unemployed, and been couch surfing for over a year. Matthew has now been sober for over a year. He has a legitimate job handling marketing and social media for his employer. He is engaging in new sober activities and hobbies such as boxing and going to the gym. He works out. He attends sober events like AA recovery paintball tournaments. Most importantly, he has rekindled relationships with his family, and I know they're very proud of him tonight. Matthew says he has developed new skills of recognizing when he needs to be patient, when he needs to ask for help, and he's learned how to take advice from others. Really well done. Good job, Matthew. Jose M. came into drug court this time determined to do it right. While in drug court, Jose got his forklift certificate and obtained a forklift job. He's a very hard worker and he's very proud of his employment, which pays him very well. He was a peer leader at Serenity House. He's opened a bank account and takes pride in building a successful life for himself. His relationship with his family has improved, and he's learned how to stay with the people in life who lift him up and don't bring him down. He's gone out of his way to help those in our program who are Spanish speaking feel welcome. He mentors them. He's identified Spanish speaking support meetings for those in our program. He said that he appreciates the opportunities he's received while in drug court and feels confident that he can do what he puts his mind to. He said, there's no limit to what can happen. And I agree. Congratulations. Felicia P. Prior to drug court, Felicia had moved to three different times in 1 year and would often have to stay with friends and coworkers. She was in poor health and she was working as many part-time jobs as she could get. Felicia turned it around. She was called a leader in her MRT group. She took all her drug court obligations very seriously. Her children, who are here tonight, are back in her life, and she's been rebuilding her relationships with her family and friends. She now enjoys sober activities like going to the gym, drawing, playing guitar, and she's become quite the fashion icon, wearing the most beautiful Frida Kahlo skirt I've ever seen to our art show. She participates in our book club, and today, Felicia is graduating sanction-free in drug court. Misty P. The case that brought Misty into drug court was her first felony charge, which is a bit unusual, but she did meet the high-risk, high-need target population for our program, and she truly needed the structure of our program. Misty is rightfully proud of all she has accomplished with us. One of the things that you may have heard is she's very proud that she paid off her 5-year-old debt at the library to get her library cards back, and I'm sure she uses it a lot. She also got her driver's license reinstated, purchased a car. She has worked steadily, paid off all her debt. She has a bank account and a savings account. I believe that she is most proud of gaining her family's trust and confidence. And she's also developed a newfound confidence in speaking to people. And I'm hopeful that she'll continue to speak with others new to recovery as a mentor, because I believe she has a lot to offer. I'll also say Misty probably wins the award second to Ms. Lachansky for having the most cats in our, but congratulations. Esmeralda R. Before entering drug court, Esmeralda had gone to residential treatment only one time and lasted, I want to say, 8 hours before she left and returned to use. She has now celebrated 2 years of sobriety. Said that her favorite part of drug court was her stay at Serenity House. She was a strong advocate for herself in getting necessary treatment, and she took her treatment opportunities very seriously. She works hard. She has one job, she had one job at drug court, but she had to get up at 3:30 in the morning to make work, and she did it without complaint. She participated in our book club. She said that she is better able to build boundaries into relationships and has built a good, sober network of friends. Her self-esteem has grown, and she has every right to be thankful and appreciative of all her accomplishments and very proud. Congratulations. Charles had been to prison 9 times and was homeless prior to coming to drug court. He did stay at Wayside for a while, where he finally began his road to recovery, and then he entered drug court. Due to a severe injury Charles received in the past, he has undergone multiple surgeries while in drug court, but neither the surgeries or his recoveries made him veer from his determination to achieve lifelong recovery. He's reconnected with his daughter. He's reunited with his family. His sisters are his biggest supporters, and one sister drove to court regularly. For the first time, he has been employed at the same job for over a year. He got his driver's license reinstated and has dealt with his financial obligations. He volunteered to speak at the Bolingbrook High School while in our program, and he also has been sober for over 2 years. Charles recently said the easy part is over, the hard part is about to start. He's not wrong, but I am confident that he has all the tools to help him going forward. Congratulations. Christy S. You kind of heard the story, but she was on probation when she reached out to her probation officer, Jeff Mazza, and asked for help. And what a testament to our adult court services here in Kane County, that they stepped up and provided extraordinary help during an extraordinary time. He helped steer her to treatment and ultimately to drug court. She did take treatment very seriously. She was a leader and a house manager at Serenity House when she finally was able to stay there. She's reunited with her children who are present, and she's been steadily employed, turning that temporary job into a full-time job with benefits. Christy had to keep setting new goals in our program because she continually was meeting her objectives. She participated in our Go Yoga. She did book club, the art show, and I remember her getting everyone to play bags at our tournament last summer at the picnic. She also got her driver's license reinstated and bought a car. She paid off debt and is taking good care of her health and has been sober for over 2 years. Congratulations. So let's give one big round of applause to all these graduates. There is a lot of work done by the drug court team to allow these 8 individuals to do so well. They did the hard work, there's no question about that, but they have a lot of support along the way. So I'm going to take a few minutes to introduce you to the drug court team and the hard work that they do. And I'm going to ask that they line up here as I introduce you so that we can congratulate the graduates. So we're going to start tonight with Mr. Jorge Hernandez. What are we doing? I should have said this first, but during the last couple months, we've been without a drug court coordinator. Alicia Klemke is here celebrating with us tonight, did take a different assignment. We appreciate her services. What I want to tell you is this team, during a time when we've been shorthanded, has stepped to the plate. They have worked so hard to make sure all our services were met and everything was done. So as I announced, I'm going to tell you what they've been doing. So Jorge took over running book club. Thank you, Jorge. Next is Quincy Owens. Quincy Owens. Took over an added assignment of running the Alumni Association for Gulfport. Next is Kim Reed. Helping out in court with incentives and bus passes and collecting meeting sheets. Next is Nicole Viella, our treatment officer. We have single-handedly worked with treatment to get everyone in treatment and get treatment reports done, and she's done a fabulous job with that. Then Lena Fisher. Lena Fisher, a special thanks and appreciation tonight because she has been helping in court as Ms. Reeves has been helping, but additionally, she worked countless hours to put together tonight's graduation. Really worked so hard to get this done, and it's greatly appreciated. Thank you. Michael Roman. Michael Roman did all of our risk assessments for all our new applications, kept the line of applicants moving, and supervised all the people I've just introduced you to, and has done a fabulous job keeping it together. Thank you, Mike Roman. Director Emily Baylor. And very instrumental in, again, keeping a lot of the background data collection, grant reports, grant applications, a lot of the paperwork and background work that Alicia had to do that somebody else had to, and Emily and Josh took over that role. And certainly not least, our Executive Director of Adult Court Services, Ms. Lisa Ost, who is present. Extremely difficult time of transition. Ms. Ost has shown great leadership and has been very supportive of all the work that we need to do. So thank you, Ms. Ost. This team has worked extraordinarily hard to keep things going. It does kind of show you all the things that Alicia had to do, but they have really kept things going the last few months, and their services have been greatly appreciated. But guess what? There's more to our team, all the treatment providers. So I'm going to introduce them next. We're going to start with Assistant Public Defender, Juanita Archuleta. King County Diagnostic Center Psychologist, Dr. Jenna D'Agostini. Mariah Hewitt from Ecker Center. Herb Strickland from Ecker Center. Sandra Hartwig from Hartsock from Gateway Foundation. And Judy Dawson from the Kane County Sheriff's Department. Doesn't it have a lot of help, and I'm so grateful for the just extraordinary assistance that we get in drug court. Thank you all for your services. I am now going to step down so that we can give diplomas to graduates, but here's the big news, and I forgot it last time to the very end, and I want to say it first. Yesterday morning, Ms. Lachansky and Ms. Archuleta joined with me in court to do the last court call on each of these graduates. And at that time, I dismissed all the felony charges for all of these women. Really is a headline, and I should say that at the beginning, but you get a copy with your graduation certificate of the dismissal of your felony charges today. So. All right, so one at a time, starting with Eric L. Next, Matthew M. Misty P. No, it's okay. We can figure this out. Misty P. Now Jose M. Alicia P. Esmeralda R. Charles S. And then Christy S. One more round of applause for all of these wonderful. I'm very proud of you all who came tonight in support of our program. I ask that you please join us out in the reception area for some cake and some lemonade, so you can personally congratulate our graduates. And again, thank you all for attending tonight. Good night.
Did I?